Hey, what's up, Bachelor Nation? Mike Thieling here with AfterBuzz TV's Ruthless recap of Season 15, Episode 2 of The Bachelorette. Now, this is the show where I bring you all the hardcore information and our opinions on what down on the most recent episode. I am a hardcore reality competition superfan, so I look at Bachelor and Bachelorette a little bit differently. I look at the game moves that all of these contestants are playing on their road to be the final Bachelor or Bachelorette. So let's get into it. On this show, we're gonna go through our top 3 good, bad, and question mark moves of the episode. And I wanna start right out with the good and what I liked of this episode. First, I loved Jed laughing off the whole situation when he walked in on Hannah and Luke. This shows a couple of things, right? So first, he acted upset, he was very awkward, and he walked out of there. But then, Hannah got very upset about it. She was very awkward about the whole thing, which leads us to realize that she does like Jed. Jed could have exploded, got really upset and angry, and that would have just played to his detriment. Instead, he left, causing Hannah to chase him, have a very intense and intricate conversation with him where he showed that he could laugh it off. It's not a big deal. He understands there's a lot of guys going after her and everything's okay. It really brought them together and it was a big, big win for him in my book. Secondly, I'd like to talk about your good old boy, Pilot Pete. Every single woman's fantasy over this episode of The Bachelorette. And we all love Pilot Pete. Pilot Pete did a really, really great thing over every other guy in this specific episode. He actually talked to Hannah about things that mattered. Most of the guys' conversations we saw with her tonight were about what they should be feeling at this point and maybe what they should talk about. Pilot Pete really talked about his career and what he wanted. He was actually trying to get real conversation going and questions with Hannah about who she is, who he is. That's developing a real connection. That's developing a real relationship, and that's what all the guys should be doing. Good move, Pete. And finally, number 3, we're gonna go to your boy Beast Mode Luke going in to Hannah's ITM at the very, very end after she gave out that final rose. Now, a couple of us, the producers, we were talking about, is this a good move? Is this a bad move? It's totally a good move. He snuck in extra time to no detriment of anybody else, and he really showed Hannah that he cared. He went that extra mile. She's been talking this whole season about being bold, making bold moves. He really went for it. And he also did big damage control this episode because we know he busted out the big L word in the beginning, which is a big, big move on episode 2 to say anything about falling in love. He was able to clarify it at the end of the episode, say that everything was 100% real, and really, really, really reassure Hannah that his intentions are true. So I thought it was a great, great move for your boy Luke. Now, let's talk about some of the bad stuff that you never want to do if you're in a reality-based competition like The Bachelorette. Let's start out first and foremost, by the way, all of our bad things come from your boy Cam. First, Tyler, Garrett, Keven confronting Cam after he interrupts the group date. All of them decided to go outside, confront Cam one-on-one, and tell them what they thought of him. This is a terrible move, especially on The Bachelor or Bachelorette. I've seen other podcasts refer to this as the white knight syndrome. They've decided that they're really here for Hannah. What he did was wrong from a gameplay perspective. How dare you do that? So disrespectful. I got news for you guys. Cam doesn't care what you think about him, and you shouldn't care what Cam thinks. You should be there completely for Hannah. So you have somebody like Garrett complaining the entire time that he didn't get any one-on-one time with Hannah. So instead of talking to her and getting that one-on-one time, he decides to go outside and confront Cam. Bro, what are you doing? Stay in there, get your time with Hannah, forget that this whole Cam nonsense ever existed. It's gonna show that you're a bigger person, just like Jed did when he laughed off the whole situation with Luke. Moving on, let's talk about another bad thing. Devin giving in when Cam interrupts his date. This is a terrible, terrible move. If somebody like Cam is gonna come and interrupt your one-on-one time, for some reason all these guys just try to be gracious, try to be respectful, and just, okay, yes, no. You say no, okay? You say no, I'll need 5 minutes. Come back in 10 minutes. It shows Hannah that you're being bold, you're being brave, you're not just gonna lay down, you're gonna fight for her, and you really wanna keep having that real conversation going with her. If you're just gonna lay over when anybody comes over and takes your time, you deserve to lose your time. And then finally, Kevin's handling of Cam interrupting his date. First off, he should have said no when Cam said, I wanna come and grab her. We learned that already from Devin's response, right? But then not only does he let Cam take the time, he goes with them into this weird threesome date where he becomes an awkward third wheel, Hannah paying no attention to him. He's sitting there in the weird heart of roses watching them eat chicken nuggets. And then it gets worse. Then he takes the empty bowl of chicken nuggets and the leftovers off with him, like he's all of a sudden become the waiter of the Bachelorette mansion. This is terrible. You look like a peon. You don't look like a brave alpha male who's there for Hannah. You look like somebody's sidekick now, and it completely takes away your power and any kind of hope you've got in the game. Now let's move into the question mark moves. I don't really know where these lies. We want you guys to tell us in the comments what exactly you think of all these moves. Let's talk first. Mike Johnson, we love Mike Johnson, first of all, right? He's a definite shoo-in to be the next Bachelor. We love this guy. He calls Luke a dog. Now, ordinarily, I would say this is a terrible game move because he's focusing on Luke instead of Hannah. However, he does do this when it's just the guys around, and he's trying to stand up a little bit to kind of let him know his place. I understand where he's coming from. If Hannah was there and he was trying to focus on Luke instead of her, I would say that's definitely bad. But this, I think he might have got away with it. What do you guys think? Next, Jed. We all love Jed too. Man, there's a couple real frontrunners this season, right? So Jed playing guitar and singing again in the talent portion competition of the Mr. Right pageant. Jed is a musician. We know he's an amazing guitar player and singer, but he's done this before. So I'm worried that if he does this too much, he's gonna come off as a one-note wonder, a kind of one-hit wonder kind of deal. And you don't want that. You wanna show variety. You wanna show that you're an interesting person. He is connecting with Hannah, and this obviously worked. He won that date's rose. He won the group date rose, but I'm worried that if he does it too much, there's not gonna be enough substance. So he's gotta watch out there. And then finally, Tyler G's solo date. He was the only one to get a solo date this episode. And, you know, the 4x4 off-roading, they had a meal, but overall, I think the general consensus was that it was real milquetoast, and they talked more about Colton, first of all, and how it felt to be on a first solo date and how it felt to be on a one-on-one date rather than actually taking time to get to know each other, to have a meaningful conversation, and to deepen the connection. So while it obviously wasn't completely bad because he got a rose, I think he wasted a really good opportunity to get to know her, deeper the connection, and kind of further himself in the game. But I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Overall, really excited episode. I'll repeat what I said in AfterBuzz's after show that I guested on today. All the guys that I like, I think they're doing pretty good moves to further themselves in the game. All the guys that I don't really like, they're making for really, really fun TV and a lot of drama, so I'm about this season. Overall, I love it. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm your host, Mike Thieling. This is the Ruthless Recap, and we'll see you next time right here on AfterBuzz TV.